Okay, so new episode of AI's Hit this week with another photographer that will serve us to try to understand how AI understands photographic style. For the better and for the worse. So again, I will rely on OpenAI using Dall-E and Midjourney for illustrations and OpenGPT, ChatGPT for the historical data. And yeah, let's start by asking AI, could you please tell us more about the photographer's bio?
He is a Brazilian social documentary photographer and photojournalist. He was born on January 8, 1944 in Amores, Brazil. He studied economics at the University of Sao Paulo and later worked as an economist for the International Coffee Organization in London. In 1973, he left his job to study photography in Paris. He worked on numerous photography projects throughout his career, many of which focus on social and environmental issues such as worker exploitation, land use, and climate change. Some of his most well-known projects include Workers, Migrations, and Genesis. He has received numerous awards for his work, including the Hasselblad Foundation International Award in Photography in 1994 and the Prince of Asturias Award for Social Sciences in 2019.
Okay, so this week it's Sebastiao Salgado. The first pictures were illustrations. I've asked Dall-E to illustrate the words of ChatGPT in the style of Sebastiao Salgado. So we definitely have the black and white, no color images, which is kind of a trademark of Salgado. But I'm not sure. I'm not super convinced of what we've seen up to here. There's something definitely in the style, but a little bit the textures and the textures I don't really feel. So I'm not really sure why that is. But there could be. It would be interesting to ask the real photographers what they think of the imitation. But anyways, maybe we could ask AI for some more information on the style. So AI, could you please tell us more?
Sebastiao Salgado's style of photography is characterized by his use of black and white film and a focus on social and environmental issues. His images often depict the lives of marginalized people and communities and the impact of human activity on the natural world.
Okay, so maybe the grain is linked to his AI's interpretation of film, black and white film. But anyways, here those two pictures, I feel it's better. It could look like something Salgado had done. Again, everything's virtual here. It just comes from nowhere. Well, from AI, but I'm quite impressed with those two pictures. Maybe less than other weeks, but I don't know. Let's ask more.
One of the things that makes Salgado's style unique is his use of large format camera, which allows him to capture detailed and sharp images. He also uses a very long focal length lens, which allows him to capture images from a distance, creating a sense of detachment and objectivity in his photographs.
Yeah. So the picture on the left, that kind of works better for me. That could go in his work, in my opinion. But again, on the right, I think we do have this weird grain, even though this picture is a little better, in my opinion, also, than the two previous ones. There's an inspiration, probably. There should be, technically, but maybe also the details are linked to the way the processing power is used on the computational side. Maybe depending on the complexity of the request, it's going to focus more on the picture's texture or composition. I don't know how it's inside the black box, but let's ask a little bit more.
Salgado's style is also known for its storytelling aspect. It's not just the image, but the context and the story behind it that makes his work so powerful. He has a way of capturing the humanity of his subjects, and his photographs often evoke a sense of empathy and compassion in the viewer.
And here are those two pictures. They're better here. I think we do see the human side of things. It feels more incarnated, weirdly. Either with the machine on the left of the left picture, or the way the subject stands on the picture on the right, and what we can kind of imagine behind this woman, what's going on. I think those two work. But yeah, but as we have an AI Sebastiao at hand, let's go for the usual custom creation request. So Could I have a photo of a group of farm workers picking strawberries in a field surrounded by lakes with birds in the far background in the style of Sebastiao Salgado? Please, AI? Okay, so the two first pictures, I'm not sure. I'm not a specialist of strawberry fields, but maybe my request of having lakes and well, there's a combination. It looks more like, I don't know, rice plantations to me like this, but definitely not a specialist. If you have comments and you know more about strawberries, please post below. But maybe the picture on the right is a little bit better. And yeah, those two compositions, again, we have this sort of weird, to me, weird texture, but otherwise it could fit in maybe in the work of Salgado. Those two next pictures, same thing. The picture on the left does kind of work. Could be strawberries, I guess. I'm still stuck with the idea of what's a strawberry field. I should have looked at it before making the request. And we do see birds behind. It feels quite naturalistic, quite documentary style photography. Could work with an imitation of Salgado style. Again, the details are definitely not there. It looks more like a doodle in some aspects, but it's inspiration. I would say, yeah, why not? And the last two pictures, again, I'm trying to, since a few weeks, the last two are usually requested from Midjourney, another tool, AI tool to create pictures. Here I'm definitely not convinced, and I think something I've talked about last week, I think Midjourney tends to add a layer of style, which is his own. And here I think it completely masks what could have been something Salgado had done. Looks more like paintings here, and we do have really big strawberries on both pictures here, but okay. There's lakes. We do understand the birds are at the back, in the background. I think it's really taking literally the different object and kind of forgot the style. Maybe it's expressing it through the black and white composition and maybe the way the composition is done. But I also feel Midjourney tends to kind of centralize the subject and tries to find a symmetry. But anyways, not very convincing this time for Midjourney. But in any case, I hope this was entertaining and will push you to go and discover Sebastiao Salgado's incredible work in galleries, museums, in books, online. And catch you next week.